As a growing nation, St. Lucians are beginning to understand that simply finding new areas to dump cannot solve the solid waste dilemma we are faced with. As a country with an environmental conscience, coupled with limited area, we need to find creative ways to reduce and better manage our garbage problem utilizing a series of proactive, coordinated source reduction practices. Simply put, source reduction is waste prevention. It includes actions that reduce the overall amount or toxicity of waste generated. This can help to conserve resources, reduce pollution, and minimize waste disposal and handling practices. The St. Lucia Solid Waste Management Authority is poised to provide coordinated and integrated systems for the collection, treatment, recycling, and disposal of solid wastes, and establish and manage sanitary landfills throughout the island as appropriate. The authority was established in 1996 to coordinate and execute the OECS project objectives within St. Lucia. The St. Lucia Solid Waste Management Authority's mission statement is to enhance St. Lucia's environmental integrity and the health of her people through the provision of an integrated system for the collection, treatment, recycling, and disposal of solid and hazardous wastes. This Organization of Eastern Caribbean States project is a regional initiative financed by the Global Environmental Trust Fund, the Bank for Reconstruction and Development, the Caribbean Development Bank, the European Union, the European Investment Bank, and regional governments. The Department for International Development has been providing technical assistance to the authority. The authority is mandated to work with the commercial and civil organizations to address various issues associated with waste management and cost recovery. The authority is also responsible for monitoring public feedback on the use of its systems and continuous sensitization of the public on the issues of waste management. Solid wastes are all the wastes arising from human and animal activities that are normally solid and that are discarded as useless or unwanted. Problems with the disposal of solid wastes can be traced from the time humans first began to congregate in tribes, villages, and communities, and the accumulation of waste became a consequence of life. The relationship between public health and the improper storage, collection, and disposal of solid waste is quite clear. Ecological impacts such as water and air pollution are also attributed to improper management of solid wastes. However, there are negative practices that create risks and thus have the potential to make a disastrous situation worse, such as indiscriminate dumping of solid waste on land, in streams, lagoons, rivers, seas, and open burning of solid wastes. Risk, if left unattended, can lead to crises that in turn can develop into a disaster. At none of these levels, crisis or disaster, is the damage simple. The entire cross-section of the society can be affected by negative waste management practices. Medical, security, housing, transport, waste disposal, the list is endless. Therefore, it is essential that we embark upon sustainable waste diversion measures, of which there are 5 key components: source reduction, material reuse, recycling, composting, and business development. Source reduction. Reducing the amount of waste generated at the source is the key to effective waste management. This can be achieved through elimination of excess packaging, production of more durable goods, and promotion of responsible consumer packaging. Material reuse. Consumer reuse of materials in their original form can displace the need for new production. Examples of material reuse include refillable beverage containers, rechargeable batteries, reusable laser printer cartridges, and the recovery of reusable doors and window frames from construction and demolition debris. Recycling. This can displace the need for virgin material in the production of new consumer goods. For example, newsprint, corrugated cardboard, and bond paper can be recycled to displace much of the virgin fiber used in the production of new paper products. Plastics, metals, and glass can also be recovered from the waste stream and recycled as new products. Composting. Most organic material, including fruit and vegetable wastes, and many non-recyclable paper products can be broken down to humus through decomposition. Compost can be used as a soil conditioner or as a cover material on disturbed lands. Business development. The challenge of waste diversion will generate an increased demand for innovative and efficient approaches to achieving diversion targets. This demand can be met by encouraging and supporting the development and commercialization of new technologies and services. At the household level, the following tips can be implemented. Reuse bags, containers, and other items wherever possible. Reduce the amount of unnecessary packaging. Sell or donate goods instead of throwing them out. Choose recyclable products and containers and recycle them. Compost yard trimmings and some food scraps. Educate others on source reduction and recycling practices. Make your preferences known to manufacturers, merchants, and community leaders. All sectors of our society need to collaborate to alter current collection and disposal practices. Putting source reduction into practice is likely to require some change in our daily routines. If we continue along our present path, the economic and social costs associated with waste disposal will continue to increase, and as a nation, we will face increasingly harder decisions about managing our trash. Let us adopt the correct practices now and eradicate the notion of being a society of trash. The authority recognized that the single most important priority was to improve conditions at the two existing solid waste disposal sites located at Ciceron in the north and Beaufort in the south of the island. The Ciceron and Beaufort sites have served as the main disposal sites for St. Lucia for the past 10 years or so. They receive tons of waste per year, comprising by volume 70% domestic and institutional waste, 10% green waste, 10% industrial waste, and 10% commercial waste. A sanitary landfill is being constructed at Dayglow to provide disposal space for the north of St. Lucia for the next 20 years. The term sanitary landfill means an operation in which the wastes to be disposed of are compacted and covered with a layer of soil at the end of each day's operation. The site contains an engineered base and cap system to minimize any negative impacts upon the local environment. The health status of a country is directly related to the level of sanitation within that country. Litter is waste materials carelessly discarded in an inappropriate place. Littering is against the law. Litter may provide food and harborage for disease vectors such as rodents, flies, and cockroaches. Litter may cause contamination of water and soil. Litter may cause air pollution. Litter may block street drains, which can lead to flooding, causing loss of life and damage to property. Litter may cause water to stagnate, providing a breeding place for mosquitoes. And litter causes an ugly environment. Littering constitutes a public health nuisance, for which one is liable to prosecution and conviction under the Litter Act of 1983. Don't be the one to be convicted. Together, we can make St. Lucia a cleaner, healthier, and more pleasant place to live. The effectiveness of good solid waste service in St. Lucia depends on you. The St. Lucia Solid Waste Management Authority would like to solicit the assistance of all residents and non-residents of St. Lucia to dispose of their household waste the correct way. Place household waste by the road or curbside before 7 a.m. only on the advertised collection days. Place household waste in skip bins provided at designated locations in the vicinity of your residence only on the days of collection. Ensure that all household wastes put out for collection is securely bagged and tied. Avoid placing harmful or offensive material within domestic waste, such as dog excrement, medical waste, and dead animals. And report any problems to the St. Lucia Solid Waste Management Authority, such as missed collections or repeated offenders who illegally dump their commercial waste into the skip bins provided for your household waste. Presently, many of the island's highways and roads are visually blighted by derelict vehicles. A derelict vehicle is a motor vehicle in an advanced state of disrepair. Under the Litter Act of 1983, it is illegal to keep a derelict vehicle in a public place. Derelict vehicles are aesthetically unsightly and ultimately compound the litter problem in our environment. Help us to clear our streets, roads, motorways, and verges. Derelict vehicles can be taken by the owner to the disposal sites located at Cicerone or Vieux-Fort free of charge. Authorized officers are empowered under the St. Lucia Solid Waste Management Authority Act of 1996 and the Litter Act of 1983. Upon identification of the owner, instruct him or her to remove or dispose the derelict vehicle in a sanitary or satisfactory manner within 7 days, or it will be towed and or disposed of at the owner's expense. Where the owner of the derelict vehicle cannot be identified, the authorized officer may arrange for the removal of the vehicle, and anyone failing to comply will be guilty of an offense and liable on summary conviction to a fine. The authority has privatized waste collection and disposal services island-wide. This has resulted in significant improvements in the quality of waste services provided. A waste contractor is the person or company hired by the authority for the collection, removal, transportation, and the disposal of all non-hazardous waste from the residential properties, institutions such as government-owned schools and hospitals, and government-owned premises and offices only. The contractor is not responsible for the collection of solid waste from commercial or industrial premises, construction or demolition debris from construction sites, street litter, street sweepings or drain cleanings. Neither is the waste contractor required to collect hazardous waste. All waste storage facilities, example, community bins, shall be carefully handled by the waste contractor staff and shall be regularly serviced, washed, and disinfected to ensure they remain functional. Community bins are not for the use of the commercial sector. Do you know your waste contractor for your area, your solid waste and bulky waste collection days? If not, call the St. Lucia Solid Waste Management Authority or your waste contractor to find out. It is your responsibility. Let's be responsible residents. Become a partner with the authority. Help build national sensitivity and intolerance towards indiscriminate littering and dumping of solid waste throughout St. Lucia. Remember, solid waste is my business, your business, our business. It's our country, our responsibility. Keep St. Lucia clean. That is why we need you to participate.